This is Cashing Out on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, let's have some fun. It's a new hour of Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo. Fresh off a couple of great postseason performances, NBA, Stanley Cup playoffs. What a Wednesday it was in the world of sports. And what a comeback it was for my New York Knicks. For the second time in as many games, the New York Knicks make an NBA history with back-to-back 20-point comebacks in Boston. And now they get to go home to Madison Square Garden this coming weekend, and they're 5.5-point underdogs. More on that to come. But how about the way the Knicks pulled off their second straight miraculous comeback? I mean, Mikal Bridges, a no-show for the first three quarters, scoring all 14 of his points in the fourth, holding Boston to just 6 points in the final 8.5 minutes of action as the Knicks went on a 23-6 run to close out the contest. Jalen Brunson struggled to shoot from the start, ice in his veins at the end. Mikal Bridges, like Groundhog Day, right? Reliving the finish to game one, solidifying the win with the final stop, stripping it from Tatum like taking candy from a baby. There at the end, the New York Knicks are going home up 2-0. I can't believe that my Knicks are suddenly favored in the series. Minus 120 at DraftKings. This series, coming into things, I had never seen a bigger disparity in a 2 versus a 3 in my life. The Celtics were minus $8 to win the series. The Knicks, plus 550. Now, minus 120. You see 135 on your screen? That's shortened up. Knicks minus 120, Celtics even money to win the series, to win 4 of the next 5 games. How about when you look at those series correct scores, the exactas over there? Boston to win 4 in a row is your shortest price. That is remarkable. I'm sorry, no. Boston in 7 is your shortest price. Boston to win 4 in a row, what I meant to say, is shorter than any of the series correct scores that involve the Knicks winning. So your shortest price, Boston in 7, plus 240. Makes sense should this go to a game 7, right? But Boston in 6 to rattle off 4 straight wins, 3 of which would come at Madison Square Garden on the road, is plus 425, while the Knicks in 6, my pick, is plus 475. 50 cents longer, still just shy of 5-1. I think it's Knicks in 6. Give it to me, baby. And I'll be the first one to say, I'm not mincing words here. I'm not going to go backtrack on anything. I was saying Celtics in 5 coming into this series. Right? You heard it. I said it. There's no denying it. But now, after seeing the way that they've pulled off history, I mean, how about Boston's peak win probability in each of these 2 games? Game 1, it was 98.3%. Game 2, when Peyton Pritchard put him up by 16 points with 8:40 to go, the Celtics had a 99.1% chance to win the game. 99.1%. And the Knicks respond with a 23-6 run over the final 8.5 minutes. You know, I think the best way to play this, and if you want to go series exacta, I would go Knicks in 6 plus 475. But I think the best way to play this series moving forward, don't lay the 20 cents on the Knicks to win the series. Play a money line, right? And roll it over game by game. They're plus 180 at home. Game 3. And everyone's saying, all right, game 3 is where the Celtics get right. You know, game 3, they get their act together. Says who? They're going to Madison Square Garden now. You know, if the Celtics, you know, if the roles were reversed, right? And you get the road team dropping the first 2, then I would say, yeah, game 3 is the get-right spot. You lost 2 on the road. Now you're coming home Crowd knows it's do or die. They're going to be into it. They're going to get behind you. You win game 3. But the Celtics are going into hostile territory. They're going to New York. They're going to MSG. Knicks fans, myself included in this group, we're freaking nuts. And I think the Boston Celtics are going to have a hellish time at Madison Square Garden game 3. This is a team that's missed 75 threes in 2 games on their own court with the crowd behind them. 25 for 100 from beyond the arc. You think it's going to be easier to shoot at MSG? Are you kidding me? Right now, I see the Celtics take a 3. I laugh and I go, oh, nice, it's a turnover. Great possession, right? Celtics were 10 of 40 from beyond the arc. Knicks won the turnover battle by like 30 plus. The Celtics have no confidence. When Jason Tatum, with 2.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, is wide open, uncontested from 3 from the corner because the defender lost his footing and he still can't hit it because he's shooting 25% from the floor. When Tatum is missing uncontested open threes on his home court, that tells me the Celtics have no confidence to pull up and splash from beyond the arc. And I love it. I love it. I don't care if I'm wrong about Celtics in 5. I'm already wrong about Celtics in 5. I don't care if I'm wrong about Celtics to come out of the East. I love it. This Knicks team is gritty. It's tough. It's tenacious. Let's hear from Karl Anthony Towns, a guy who myself and many others have at times in the past questioned his toughness. Let's hear from Cat about how gritty this Knicks team is.
I mean, we always have confidence in our team, so, unfortunately, again, we put ourselves in a position, but, I think if we've shown anything to the NBA and to the fans, that we're a gritty team and we're just going to keep fighting to the last one.
I mean, this team has so many tough cats, but, I've said about these Knicks that this team is more talented than last year's team, but not as tough. I thought that the losses of Jules Randle and Dante DiVincenzo hurt this team in the toughness category. But man, Josh Hart's still there, and he's tough as nails. Who had Josh Hart being the leading scorer with 23 on their bingo card going into game 2? Mikal Bridges, a guy who I've doubted as a Knick. I mean, I think everyone with half a brain has doubted that trade, right? Bridges had a very lackluster regular season, and frankly, he was a no-show. I'm talking the kind of stuff that lands you on the side of a milk carton for the first 3 quarters of this game 2. But game 4, he showed up. All 14 of his points in the fourth quarter. I said game 4, quarter 4. All 14 of his points in quarter number 4. The game-winning strip of Jason Tatum at the end. Bridges showed up, showed out, and displayed his toughness in a big way. Let's hear from Cat on Bridges and the impact he made.
That's what he does. That's what he does. We got the clutch player of the year in the NBA, and we possibly got one of the most clutchest defenders in the NBA as well. So it's only right that, for all the talk people have done about Mikal, it's when the lights were the brightest that he gets to show his worth.
I mean, this team goes 0-4 against the Boston Celtics in the regular season. And here they are, up 2-0, going home, Madison Square Garden. Look, the Knicks did not defend home court well in that opening round series against Detroit. Went 1-2 at home. Road teams won 5 straight to end that series. The Knicks on the road, 5-0 this postseason. 3-0 at Detroit, 2-0 at Boston. But now they're going home. It's going to be a Saturday matinee, right? Sorry, Broadway. The Saturday matinee this weekend is at the Mecca. 3:30 p.m. Eastern. That place is going to be rocking. It's going to be a zoo, a jungle. The Mecca is going to be a madhouse. And you're giving them 5 points, 5.5. Give me the Knicks plus the points. Give me the Knicks money line. Game 3. Go New York, go New York, go! They're eliminating the Celtics. This is reminiscent of when the Mets, 2015, went 0-7 regular season against the Chicago Cubs and swept them in the NLCS. That's what this is reminding me of. 0-4 regular season to Boston, big whoop. All that matters is who wins 4 this series. And the Knicks have a 2-0 advantage in that department right now. Folks, Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring that all gambling transactions get approved. That means no usage fees, no minimums, means you can earn cashback rewards, plus get 100% approval for all betting deposits. So sign up today at edgeboost.bet. Use the promo code CASH and deposit $25. Edge Boost will match it. That's edgeboost.bet. We do have a few games to get to before Game 3, Knicks Celtics. I'm all riled up, and that game isn't until Saturday. Every other series, all three other series, are going to go on between now and then. How about the Wolves and the Warriors? Little Thursday night action. The lone game on the slate. And Minnesota is laying 10.5. I know that there's no Steph game too. And I know in terms of morale that you take a hit when you lose your best player, one of the best players in the history of the game. But what I saw from Golden State in that second half, game one, was beyond encouraging. And they still have playoff Jimmy. And I know Jimmy Butler was calling himself Robin and, saying he's the Robin to Steph's Batman. Jimmy's been Batman before. Jimmy's been Batman in the postseason many times before. I think Jimmy's ready to be Batman however many games he has to be this series. I'm not saying Golden State comes out of Minnesota up 2-0 like the Pacers, like the Knicks. But 10.5 points with Jimmy's two-way prowess, with Draymond locking him down on D and Buddy Hield, who's gone for over 55 points the last two games, I don't know. I think that might be too many points to lay with Minnesota. Up next, VSiN senior handicapper Wes Reynolds. You don't want to miss it, folks. It's Wes's Winners right here on Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, Cashing Out continues here on VSiN with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through your Wednesday night, right on in to your Thursday. And as promised, one of my favorite, most anticipated spots of the week, VSiN senior handicapper Wes Reynolds joining us now over on the Progressive Guest Line. Folks, it's time for Wes's Winners. And Wes, our basketball teams have had no shortage of winners over the last few days. How about it? Your Pacers, my Knicks, both up 2-0 and both going home. How are you feeling about this series for your Indiana Pacers?
Feeling pretty good. I would like it to be Pacers-Knicks for old time's sake, because we were talking before we got back on the air here 30 years ago today, when Joe Ceraulo wasn't even a thought in this world, when you were not born yet, but I was in my teenage years. This is the 30-year anniversary of 8.9 seconds. Reggie Miller against the Knicks in the Garden, and a rivalry was born. Reggie and Spike were going at it, and I would love to see that one more time. Maybe this time it'll be Tyrese Halliburton, though, and Spike Lee. But feeling good about the series overall. Now, for game number 3 on Friday night, might be on Cavs money line, especially. I don't know if you get Garland back, because Garland, if this was regular season, he'd be out through like the end of next week with this toe injury. But it's 2-0 now. You got to have all hands on deck. But the guy I think Cleveland really needs back is Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley, despite what we saw from Donovan Mitchell last night with the 48, and they still couldn't hold on and win the game. Evan Mobley is really the big mismatch, I think, in Cleveland's favor against the Pacers, especially when Miles Turner goes to the bench. And Miles is a good rim protector, but Mobley can take him off the bounce into the rack. And then when Miles Turner goes to the bench, you've got Pascal Siakam and you got Obi Toppin, who are both too small, and Thomas Bryant, my fellow Indiana Hoosier, but God bless him, he's too slow to guard Evan Mobley. So they need Mobley back, I think, in the worst way, Cleveland. But I would expect Cleveland. I think they're going to take game 3, and I think the Pacers will take game 4 and have a chance to close it out in Cleveland. But this Pacer thing, this is no fluke. People are going to point to the Cavs guys being out. It isn't about what the Cavs didn't have. It's about what the Pacers had last night, because this is twice now in the postseason that they were on the brink of defeat. I mean, defeat was just staring them right in the face, and they just pull it out in the final minute. So this team's got something here, and this team was the fourth best record in the league since January 1st. So the Indiana Pacers, this is not a fluke. They're absolutely for real.
No, it was the conference finals team from a year ago. This team is as legit as they come. Wes, I was telling the story on the program yesterday. I was driving back from LA to Vegas yesterday, and I saw the push notification that Mobley and Garland and Hunter were all out. I pulled over at a rest stop. I bet Indiana on Profit X, which you can do in California. I took the Pacers plus 210 on the money line. Did I think it was going to hit when they were down 7 with 38 seconds to go? No, but we cashed out, and that's all that matters. That's why it's the name of the show. But I'm surprised you're on the other side, Game 3. I like Indiana in this spot. I actually think that they win Game 3, drop Game 4. How about this Wolves-Warriors series, though? We just got word Steph's going to be out at least a week. Where does that lead you, Game 2? Are you laying the 10.5 with Minnesota? Are you targeting the prop market? What do you like, Warriors-Wolves Game 2?
Yeah, I don't really want to weigh the 10.5 here because this could be the fallen hero game with Steph being out. And we did see in the second half, Draymond and Buddy Hield and Butler, especially Draymond and Buddy Hield, stepped up and have well above average offensive games. So I think what I'm looking for is in the prop market, and I'll go one on each side here. I think Buddy Hield, this was going to be a tough series for him because he's such a liability defensively. Yeah. And so I thought, okay, you're going to see GP2 and you're going to see Moody and these other guys play more, and you still might. 15.5 might be a little high. So I would lean Hield under, but the guy I think that probably benefits with Steph being out, where somebody has to try to replace that scoring, is Pods. Brandon Podziemski, who he played in 10 games without Steph Curry this year, averaged about 14 a game. I think the overnight I'm seeing like 12.5. Would lean to the over in the points, but the guy that I really want to attack, even though you're already paying the tax in the market, I think Ant-Man has a really big game in Game 2 tomorrow night. He got called out by his coach. He got called out by Chris Finch. Now, some superstars are going to get sensitive about that. They don't like to be called out. Ant-Man's an ornery guy, man, and I think he's going to respond to that. And I think what you're going to see him do is not settle for these jumpers because he shot about 33% combined over the last 2 games, that Game 5 against the Lakers and then Game 1 last night. You're going to see him go to the rim. I think the Timberwolves are going to get a few more calls tomorrow because we often see that in the playoffs when the coach, in this case being Chris Finch, kind of, pisses and moans a little bit about the officiating, said, hey, they were too physical, they were holding and clutching and grabbing Rudy Gobert. Well, now Minnesota's got to meet that physicality, and I think that's what Ant-Man's going to do. I think he's going to live at the line tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, Wes, we got to call it what it is, right? Your Pacers, my Knicks last year, you guys got the better of us in that second round. But we noticed that thing with the officiating. Rick Carlisle did a lot of pissing and moaning after games 1 and 2 when the Knicks were up 2-0. Indiana got some calls when it went back to Indianapolis Game 3. So that's a great point, especially when you're the home team. Now, you said something about Edwards that I agree with fully. I think he is most effective when he attacks the rim, and you mentioned him attacking the rim there. But would you be interested in going over 3.5 three-pointers after Minnesota turning in the worst 2-game stretch in postseason history from a three-point percentage perspective?
Could certainly see that. But now, with recent, just the way I think he's going to attack the rim, points, rebounds, probably at 34.5 is good, but lean to the over. I wouldn't want to play the under. I think Ant-Man is going to have a big game, and I know Golden State can throw like a lot of different defenders at him. They can throw Jimmy at him. They can throw Moody at him. They can throw Gary Payton II. They can throw Draymond at him. But I don't think it's going to matter. I just think when Ant-Man is that guy, when he gets going and he gets angry, I think he plays better when he's angry and he's got a chip on his shoulder. And he's probably going to be very angry being down 1-0 and having been called out by his coach last night.
Oh, absolutely. Wes Reynolds with us on the Progressive Guest Line here. Follow him on Twitter at WesReynolds1. And make sure you also check out Long Shots, our terrific golf podcast here at VSiN that Wes hosts alongside Matt Brown and Kelly Bidlin. Wes, speaking of the golf, by the way, last week when we talked about the tournament down in Texas, great point with Scotty, even though you didn't give it out. You said if there was a tournament that you'd be more inclined to not blame someone for playing such a short shot, it was Scheffler. I believe he was plus 280, and he had a ridiculously good weekend. What are you looking for this weekend over at the Truist?
Well, he can't beat everybody this week because he is taking the week off before the PGA. But this, by the way, is in Philadelphia this year. It is usually in Charlotte. but it's not in Charlotte because that's where the PGA is next week at Quail Hollow. But I took a pass on Rory, even though he could win. He's going to try to drive it really far on this course. It's only 7,100 yards, so he's going to hit driver everywhere and take his chances. But I went with Xander Schauffele, the defending PGA champion, at 16-1. His game's kind of coming back into form. Remember, he missed about 2 months with that rib injury. Now he's finally, I think, getting back healthy and getting ready to defend that PGA championship from last year. And then I also played his bestie, his Ryder Cup partner, Patrick Cantlay, at 20-1. Cantlay has won very frequently in the Northeast. And this is where this is, of course, in Philadelphia. Just got to get that putter working, but 5 of the 7 wins are on these smooth bent grass greens. So Patrick Cantlay, 20-1. Another Northeasterner, Keegan Bradley, 50-1, who has won in the state of Pennsylvania. He is the Ryder Cup captain this year, but he's been playing pretty good golf. Got a couple top 6s and about 5 top 20s. So Keegan Bradley, 50-1. And then Justin Rose, who was the victim of Rory McIlroy in that Masters playoff. You never really get over that, but it's now been a month. 75-1, trying to get that spot. The last time on the European Ryder Cup team, going to turn 45 later this summer, so probably his last opportunity. So this is a course where I think he could go well. It's played very well on some of these similar Northeast designs, which we're going to see at the Philadelphia Cricket Club this week.
I love it. And great CLV there on Bradley and Rose. 50 and 75-1 you got him at. At some shops, they're already down to 40 and 65-1. Wes, final minute here before we let you go. Rory 4-1. I mean, a clear and away short shot on the board here. Would you be intrigued in potentially playing a top 5 on Rory, ties included, at even money?
That's probably the way to go here because could Rory win this thing? Absolutely. But this is a brand new course. This course has never been played on the PGA Tour. So this isn't like Quail Hollow, which usually hosts the Truist Championship where he's won 4 times. By the way, where is the PGA Championship next week? Quail Hollow. So Rory and Scotty will be 1A and 1B as your favorites next week, and everybody's going to have to try to beat them.
Wes, as always, man, really appreciate the time. Thanks so much. It was fun, and hopefully next time we're talking, we'll be previewing my Knicks against your Pacers, man.
I hope so. That rivalry needs to resume. Started 30 years ago. Let's get it going again.
Yeah, last spring it got going. Maybe we can get part 2 in about a week's time. Wes Reynolds, VSiN senior handicapper. Make sure you check him out on the Long Shots pod alongside Matt Brown and Kelly Bidlin, giving out nothing but winners on the course over there. And follow him on Twitter at Wes Reynolds1. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the upcoming Wolves-Warriors game a little more, as well as previewing some Thursday action on the Diamond with our buddy Tanner Kern from DraftKings Sportsbook. You don't want to miss it. It's Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo.
Welcome back to Cashing Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, taking you through the late hours of your Wednesday night, right on into your Thursday morning here on the program. And now, joining us over on the Progressive Guest Line, it's our buddy from DraftKings Sportsbook, terrific content creator over there, Tanner Kern, with some best bets for Thursday. Tanner, NBA playoffs have been absolutely wild. How are you, my friend? What do you make of this Warriors-Wolves game with no Steph, game 2?
Definitely going to be an interesting one here. I'm going to take the Timberwolves minus the 10.5. It's a big number, but I still trust them in this spot. When Steph was on the floor for the Warriors in game 1, he was cooking, shot 55% from the field, scored 13 points in 13 minutes, but won't be the case in game 2. Obviously not going to play with the injury. Jimmy Butler said Steph is the Warriors' best player, and this is true. And we're going to see that, I think, coming into this game. There's nowhere to go but up for Minnesota, nowhere to go but improve, especially from the three-point line. You know, with or without Curry, you can't shoot 17% from 3 in the NBA and expect to win. You know, we go to the Celtics series against the Knicks. You can't shoot poorly from 3 and expect to win games, and that's the case for Minnesota here. So I do think we're going to see an uptick from 3, and I think they're going to be better. Warriors made 13 more threes, and they won the game 1 by 11. So without Curry and a little bit better of a shooting night, I think Minnesota can really flip the script. The 3 is going to be open, especially if they can kick and drive. And, you know, they dominated game one in the paint, and that's an area where I think they're going to continue to win with Golden State's small lineup. So again, they need their guys like Ant-Man to DiVincenzo. Everybody has to step up because that's why they were able to beat the Lakers. But again, if they can continue to force their will on the inside, it's going to open up the outside, and when they get those looks, they need to knock them down. If they do that without Steph on the floor, I think they can win this game by upwards of 11 points and cover the spread.
You know, Tanner, you brought it up. I wasn't going to bring up your Celtics. I'm still riding the high from my Knicks winning game 2. I mean, the amount of history that's been made so far in the NBA playoffs, whether it's the Knicks, first team ever, back-to-back 20-plus point comebacks, the Celtics, most missed threes in a 2-game span, 75 misses. You know, it's crazy, though, and this is the correlation where it all ties together. You mentioned Minnesota and the Celtics. They've both made history in the last, 24 to 36 hours. The Celtics for the most misses from beyond the arc in a 2-game span. And Minnesota for the lowest percentage. They're shooting under 16% from 3 in their last 2 games, even going back to the game 5 that they won at the Lakers. So does Ant-Man, who was, really strong in the second half, game 1, but he was absent from beyond the arc, had 1 point at halftime. Does he kick it into a new gear in game 2? What prop are you on for Anthony Edwards?
Yeah, he's really been up and down from a scoring perspective. Joe, I appreciate you bringing the Knicks-Celtics game up again.
Yeah, more on that to come, man.
Yeah, more on that to come. I'm still disturbed, but anyways, I'll try to keep it together for the Anthony Edwards prop here. Over 35.5 points plus rebounds. Again, been up and down from a scoring perspective. He did easily surpass this line in game 1 on a bad scoring night. 1 of 5 from 3. It was clear he wasn't feeling it because when he is, he's really taking upwards of 10 threes per game this season. He can shoot 40% from 3 when he's really effective. He's great driving downhill, getting to the basket. He's just doing a lot of things on the aggressive side where we didn't see that as much in game 1. Looking at the rebounds, though, he's been fantastic throughout the entire NBA playoffs so far. Coming off a 14 rebound game, had 11 in the closeout game against the Lakers. With the Warriors being an undersized team, Edwards has a lot more opportunities to go in and get those boards. So I think he's really going to have a good game there. I can't say if he's going to be more efficient from the field. Again, going back to Celtics game, I thought they'd be more efficient from the field tonight. Obviously, that didn't happen. So, hopefully he can turn it up a little bit from a shooting perspective, but the rebounds are going to be there. And I do trust star players to get back on track. Ant-Man is a guy who knows this is a must-win game coming into it. I think he's going to step up here and go over this line.
All right, Tanner, it seems like you got a lot to get off your chest. So let's talk Celtics Knicks. My Knicks up 2-0 in the series. A couple of absolutely insane games. Game 3, Saturday, Madison Square Garden, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Your Celtics are laying about 5.5, depending on the shop, at the opening line here. Do you think they get back on track? Do you think they cover? What are your thoughts as this series shifts back to Madison Square Garden in New York City?
So I don't want to toot my own horn, but I actually had 2 plays tonight that did hit. Celtics first quarter spread, Celtics halftime spread.
There you go.
I wasn't necessarily super confident with the 10.5 points. Obviously, as the game was going on with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, I said, man, damn, I should have took the 10.5 points. But luckily I didn't. So going to this game, though, I have to lay the points with the Boston Celtics. I got to take my fandom out of it, and I think the Celtics are the better team here. We were talking before who's going to win this series. You can take it from 2 sides. The Celtics have had 20-point leads in each game, and I don't want to jinx myself, knock on wood here, but the bottom line is I don't think the Knicks can get a 20-point lead, right? But they can come back from a 20-point lead. So whatever side you think is more important there, the team that can score and put a team away or the team that can come back, that's the side I would recommend taking here. But for Boston, they've only, I think I heard the stat tonight, they only lost back-to-back games 3 times this season. I have a hard time believing they're going to lose 3 in a row and go down to the Knicks. And maybe it's just because of how they played against the Knicks this season. But I'm definitely rattled. I don't know if you can tell right now. I don't know what to say. And realistically, I trust this team to bounce back, but how they were tonight, it's hard to trust them. You can't blow 2 20-point leads in the playoffs and not expect it to come back and bite you. I still think Boston has a great chance to win this series, and we're going to see the odds shift drastically if they can come in and win game 3. But it's going to be a tough task on the road in New York.
Well, I'll give you credit, man. For a guy who doesn't know what to say, you are pretty well spoken, as always. I will say, I would rather play the Knicks plus $1.80 on the money line as opposed to laying 35 cents on the series. I mean, to me, it's just playing money line every game as opposed to laying that, because they're going to be underdogs every game, I'd imagine, on an individual basis. Why lay 35 cents on the series price? Tanner, let's head over to the Diamond. Your Red Sox taking on the Rangers Thursday. Brian Bayo on the bump against Leiter. What do you like?
So at the Red Sox game tonight, sitting there in person, which was great. I got to see a win while I saw the Boston Celtics crumble on my iPhone. But Rangers, Red Sox, back to the Celtics. I can't just keep going back to them. I am disturbed again. But Rangers, Red Sox under 9.5 runs tonight. A little bit of a higher scoring game. Willie Abreu had a big offensive night. Alex Bregman's the only thing keeping this Red Sox team alive right now. There's not a lot of players hitting consistently besides Bregman. So Rangers, Red Sox under 9.5 going into the getaway game tomorrow. Boston's bullpen can make any offense look effective. Obviously, they did a decent job tonight. But the Rangers really haven't run up the score this season. They've been really struggling offensively. They're 28th in baseball in runs scored. And heading into tonight, they were 25-11 to the under. So this is a big under team. You're getting a nice 9.5 number here. When you look at Brian Bayo, who's going to pitch for Boston, giving up 1 home run per start, but he has been great right out of the gate following his rehab stint. I mean, he's been really effective. 2-0 with a 2.55 ER or 2.55 ERA and a 1.19 WHIP. He's going to face Jack Leiter, who does have a pretty bad walk issue. Like Bayo, they both can be a little wild at times, but when he is on, he's very effective here. So a daytime start, getaway game. You look at Bayo, who's been good. Leiter has the capability and a lot of upside, and 2 offenses that are definitely very inconsistent. I will gladly take the under on 9.5 runs.
I love it. Folks, don't forget, smarter bets start right here, and they last all year long with VSiN Pro. For a limited time, we're slashing the price of our annual VSiN subscription, normally $240, now just $1.99. And when you sign up today, we're going to throw in 2 extra months for free. That's 14 months VSiN Pro access for less than 50 cents a day when you use the promo code PRO. Those 14 months include daily best bets, exclusive splits, 24/7 live video, and all of our special edition betting guides. So head to VSiN.com/subscribe now, promo code PRO. Lock in your 14 months of VSiN Pro for just $1.99. Our friend Tanner Kern from DraftKings Sportsbook with us now on the Progressive Guest Line. Tanner, 2 minutes to go. 2 more plays on the Diamond. Coors Field doubleheader. What do you like game 1? Casey Mize opposite Kyle Freeland.
This is my favorite play of the day. Tigers run line against the Rockies, getting a really good price at -115. Prime run line spot. Better team on the road with a pitching and offensive advantage. Casey Mize has been tremendous this season. 5-1, 2.70 ERA, WHIP right around 1. And he's going against Kyle Freeland. Freeland's not good. 8.53 ERA at home, 4.18 ERA on the road. So I would say that's closer to his average. Obviously, the elevation at Coors Field doesn't help him. But 8.53 ERA at Coors is just really bad. I expect Casey Mize's numbers to inflate a little bit pitching there, but at the same time, too, he should be better than Freeland. Offensively, Colorado's 30th in runs, Detroit's 7th. I mean, we gave the White Sox a lot of crap last year for how they played. You know, Colorado said, hold my beer this year. So it's a spot where I really like the Tigers.
I'm with you. I think I'm going to run to the counter on that one, too. Take us home, Dodgers, D-backs, Yamamoto. He's been phenomenal. He gets no run support. What's your play here in the final 30 seconds?
First half, first 5 is what I'm going with, -0.5 for the Los Angeles Dodgers. You look at Yamamoto, has been the best pitcher in baseball this season. 0.9 ERA, 0.93 WHIP in 40 innings. Keeps the ball in the yard, has a lot of strikeouts. Guy that I want to bet on consistently. You look at Brandon Pfaadt, he's been good. I don't want to disrespect him by any means, 3.79 ERA. But I just think the Dodgers are going to be able to get a few more runs early off him than the Diamondbacks are going to get off Yamamoto. And if that's the case, the Dodgers are going to cover the first half run line.
Tanner, my man, you're the best. Sorry about your Celtics. Not really sorry. I'm thrilled about it. But thanks so much for hopping on, man. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Joe. Good luck with the Knicks, man.
Make sure you follow him on Twitter at @TannerKern_. Check out his terrific work over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Folks, more picks, more winners, more cashing out with Joe Ceraulo up next.
Out here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, Cashing Out continues with me, Joe Ceraulo, getting you ready for your Thursday with a game 2 coming up in Minnesota. A couple of playoff games on the ice. The Washington Capitals plus money dogs at home against Carolina. Vegas, the Knights right down the road, going to be hosting Edmonton, down 1-0 in that series. Is about 30-35 cent favorites in that one. And a pretty good slate of baseball from crack of dawn until late at night. I believe the first game is Twins-O's, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And then we go right up until a couple of 6:40 starts in Anaheim and Arizona. Dodgers, D-backs, Angels, Blue Jays. We've got it all. Let's dive in. It's time for the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. We are starting the VSiN Daily Morning Bets with that aforementioned game in Minnesota. First baseball game of the day, 10:10 Pacific time, 1:10 Eastern. The Twins playing host to the Baltimore Orioles. And the O's have been awful this season. Terrible on the road, terrible straight up. 13-22 on the year. I believe only better than the White Sox in the grand scheme of the American League. The Angels and the Blue Jays having terrible years, slightly better than Baltimore. And the O's on the road are 5-13. They've dropped the first 2 games of the series, and I think Minnesota sweeps them. The Twins, 17-20. They've won 4 straight, and they've gone 11-6 at home. We keep talking about how home teams have been absolutely just kicking tail to start the Major League Baseball season. Well, the Twins are a part of that, winning almost 2 out of 3 at home to start the year. I think they sweep Baltimore, but I'm not going money line. I'm taking Minnesota to not bat, bottom of the 9th. It's a DraftKings special. If you can find it elsewhere, be my guest. But at DraftKings, it is minus 115, and that's even with a last-minute pitching change. Joe Ryan was supposed to be the starter for Minnesota. He is scratched with an illness. Who's moving up a spot? Bailey Ober, going to pitch on normal rest instead of the extra day. And how have O's hit Ober? Well, they haven't. 7 for 42 against him. 0 extra base hits. It's a 167 average. It's a 167 slugging percentage against Ober. He has been dominant against current Orioles hitters. He has been dominant ever since he had that implosion opening weekend in St. Louis. Went 2 2/3, 8 earned against the Cardinals in his first start. Since the calendar turned to April, this guy has been nearly unhittable. And we've heard some people preseason talk about him as a Cy Young long shot. I mean, hey, since April 1st, he is 4-0. The ERA is 2 flat. Look at his last few starts. 6 innings, 1 earned. 7 2/3, 1 earned. 6 innings, 1 earned. 6 1/3, 3 earned. That was against my Mets. 6 innings, 1 earned. Make it 5 straight quality starts for Bailey Ober. He has gotten the decision, been the winning pitcher in 4 straight starts. If you want to take him to get the win, be my guest, plus 145. But I'm going to go Minnesota to not bat in the bottom of the 9th against Dean Kramer, minus 115. Kramer coming off 7 scoreless against Kansas City at home, but he's been terrible on the road this year. 5 of his starts on the road. He's allowed 5 earned or more in 4 of them. That road ERA absolutely atrocious this season, coming in at over 8, while in 2 starts at home, he's 2-0 with a 0.7. So O's at Twins, give me Minnesota to not bat in the bottom of the 9th. Sticking in the Orioles division, the AL East, give me the Red Sox money line at home against Texas. Minus 130. Brian Bayo on the bump for the Red Sox. Bayo making his 4th start of the year. He's coming off a start against Minnesota Friday, May 2nd, where he went 6 2/3, 1 earned. He's turned in back-to-back quality starts, and in his first start of the season, it wasn't quality because he didn't go 6 innings, but he went 5 innings, only allowed 1. Bayo's been great in the early goings of this year. He's 2-0 so far. And for some reason, even when he's not great, the Red Sox just love to score when Brian Bayo is on the bump. Last year, he was 14-8 with an ERA over 4.5. The Red Sox in his 30 starts were 20-10. So Boston has now, this season included, won 23 of his last 33 starts, dating back to the start of last year. They score in bunches when he's on the bump. This Texas team has trouble scoring, and Jack Leiter on the hill for Texas has just not looked confident since he came back off the IL. His last 2 starts, he has combined to just go 7 2/3 and allow 8 earned runs. I had a Texas first 5 play in San Francisco when he came back off the IL. It was a push. It should have been a win, but he walked 4. He had no command, no control, no confidence. Last time out at home against Seattle, gave up 6 earned in just 4 1/3. Leiter has looked terrible in his 2 starts back off the IL. I think Boston's going to get to him early and often. Give me the Red Sox minus 130 on the money line. Next play up, we're going game 1 of the Tigers-Rockies doubleheader. You've heard me talk about this one. Detroit is up to, at some shops, an 80-cent favorite, but you can still get them on the run line some way, somehow. Minus 115. So that's what we're going to take. Casey Mize on the bump for Detroit. Not going to target any props with Mize because it is Coors Field. Wild and wonky things can happen. But going to take Detroit to win this one by multiple runs. Kyle Freeland on the bump for the Rockies. He has been absolutely terrible. 0-4. The ERA is up near 6 on the season. At home in 3 starts, he's gone just 12 2/3 innings, allowing 12 earned runs. That ERA over 8.5 when he's at home this year. Freeland has been terrible. Casey Mize has been sensational. Even his last time out there, Mize didn't have his best stuff, had allowed 4 runs against the Angels in his first 4 innings, toughened up, went 7, allowing just those 4 runs, hung in there long enough for Detroit to pull off the 10-4 win in Anaheim. He's pitching on an extra day of rest. He's allowed 1 or fewer earned in 4 of his 6 starts on the year. He's 5-1 in those 6 starts. Give me Mize and the Tigers, who, by the way, hit lefties among one of the best squads in baseball offensively against left-handed pitching. Run line in Coors Field, game 1 of the doubleheader, minus 115. 3 day games so far. Let's take it home with a little nightcap action. Give me, in the Dodgers D-backs game at Chase Field, Yoshinobu Yamamoto over 17.5 outs. Yamamoto has been ridiculous to start this season. We've talked about him in this Cy Young race, and I think where he's currently sitting at plus 250, wow. He has tied Skeens as the short shot. We looked at this a couple days ago. He was 5-1. Plus 250 after Skeens just got the L in St. Louis the other night. I mean, Yamamoto's been sensational. 4-2, a .9, sub-1 ERA. My only reservation on playing the Dodgers to win this is that Yamamoto has not gotten good run support. We took the run line last Friday in Atlanta. They won the game 2-1. You look at his last few starts, the Dodgers scored in March. He had 2 starts. 4 runs for him in Tokyo, 8 at home on a Friday night against the Tigers. He got a no decision. They scored. They won that game in extra innings. Since the calendar hit April, LA has not scored more than 3 runs in a game for Yamamoto. They've scored 2, 3, 3, 0, and 2. The run support's been terrible. So I'm going to go outs recorded because he's gone over this in 4 of his last 5, over 17.5 outs. He's gone 6 innings 3 times, 7 innings once. He has been consistent. He has been reliable. He has been sensational. I just, for some reason, it's shades of 2018, 2019 Jacob deGrom. I can't trust the Dodgers to score when he's on the bump. He's 4-2 with an ERA sub-1. It makes no sense. But give me Yamamoto over 17.5 outs. Current Diamondbacks hitters have not seen the ball well coming out of his hand. Just 3 for 25 against him. And that'll do it for the VSiN Daily Morning Bets. Folks, don't forget our best bets are brought to you by our friends over at G-Bank. Get the G-Bank Visa Signature Card today. Most credit cards treat sportsbook and gaming transactions like cash advances, even when you put your own money on the card. G-Bank treats gaming transactions like purchases, so you're saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees on gaming transactions right there. Also with G-Bank, you're earning 1% cashback rewards on all eligible sportsbook and gaming transactions and 2% cashback rewards on all eligible purchases. Apply now, VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank. That'll do it for another terrific edition of Cashing Out with Joe Ceraulo. Couldn't do it alone, though. Shout out to our terrific team, our sensational producer, Jared Moore, who put this program together. The rest of our awesome team on the other side of the glass, Johnny, Chris, Alexis, Jarens, couldn't do it without him. That does it for me, Joe Ceraulo. We'll do it again, Domani, right here on Cashing Out.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.